Zach, here we are at the end.
It's kind
the
of
end of our
yeah.
well, sort of. I mean, it's the end of our film journey. We're gonna still have a episode where we watch the what is it called?
Return to Hogwarts.
Return to Hogwarts. Yeah, sure. But we're at the end of the Wizarding World as we know it. Before they revamp it, and they'll probably, after they do all the Harry Potter books, they're probably then going to try to reboot Fantastic Beasts.
No.
You know, it does make the question: if there's a successful, if the series is successful, I wonder if they maybe try to make a play to try to bring that back. Because I know Eddie Redmayne has said that he is very interested in still continuing the character.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he is too. Well, I would say that he probably should want to be interested, considering that this movie, he's basically not even the protagonist of this film series anymore.
Yeah, well,
it's like it's all about Dumbledore, man. It's all about Dumbledore. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody joined the Dumbledore's army.
All right. Well,
all right. So
Zach,
we're reviewing Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Otherwise,
that's right.
Alternatively known in other countries as Fantastic Beasts: The Absolved Crimes of Grindelwald.
Well, yeah, he was. The crimes were absolved in the first 25 minutes of the movie. Yeah, how about that? Thanks, Germany. Thanks, Germany. Way to go.
Justice is hard to get. It's hard to come by, no matter where you are.
Yeah, it is. It is. Zach, I want to pick your brain a little bit. Well, we got to address the elephant in the room here, and
pick. You pick out. Pick it.
What?
Pick your brain. It's a character. All right.
Pick your brain. Pick your pick.
The creature. Fantastic Beasts. Pick it. He's a little leaf guy. He's in a pocket.
Oh, that's his. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's his name. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember anything about this anymore. I'm tired. I'm old.
The biggest Fantastic Beasts fan I know.
Zach, I probably am. I want to pick your brain. We got to address the elephant in the room.
What is it?
What do you? Okay, so we have a recast. We're recast immediately.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, first minute of the movie, he shows up. It's Mads Mikkelsen is now Grindelwald because of the Johnny Depp controversy, because of Amber Heard and all that jazz. What do you think about Mads Mikkelsen's take on this character?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of jarring how different he is. It's almost like a different character to me. So it was very jarring going from one movie to the next.
There's like some tonal similarities, but yeah, it is interesting that it's like it just feels like a totally different interpretation of the character. I think he's great personally. I actually honestly much prefer this version of Grindelwald. I think it feels a lot more like Mads Mikkelsen, just like I'm being a bad guy and not like Johnny Depp performing. Because like, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't necessarily buy Johnny Depp as an actor so much as I buy him as a performer. And that's maybe not necessarily a slight. Some people might take it that way. I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way. But most of the time when I see Johnny Depp in something, it's usually he's like performing. Like it's like he's embodying a character. It's like he's like role playing or cosplaying,
right?
Which, in the case of Jack Sparrow, works really, really well. Like there's a reason why he was like best. He get like a best supporting actor nomination at the Oscars for that role, for the first one. Like he's amazing. To me, it's interesting that he's best supporting actor in that, not best actor. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they consider Orlando Bloom as the lead in the movie.
No way. That's crazy.
I think they do. I think the first movie, I think they consider Orlando Bloom the lead.
I don't buy it.
But
yeah, it's just very different. No one's gonna come in and match the Johnny Depp style.
Yeah, and I really like it. I think it, to me, I buy their relationship. Like the fact that I just don't know if I could have bought that Jude Law and Johnny Depp were in a relationship, as opposed to like there's
I wanted to see that now though.
There's something about the gravitas of like how Mads Mikkelsen holds himself when he's acting that just like feels it just feels right that it's like this is somebody that I could see Dumbledore falling in love with. There's there's just something about, I just don't know what I can't like quite put a finger on it, but there is like a presence, a screen presence that he just has. And I'm not saying necessarily that he was an amazing as this character, but like I think I much prefer this interpretation. I think he does a much better job. And
Can I be
yeah,
honest? Like, I don't particularly like care as as bad as it is for the main villain of these movies. I don't really
right.
particularly care about the characters. I'm not really passionate about like one way or the other. It's just they're both kind of passable to me.
And that isn't that kind of the problem. That's to me
Yeah.
is like the major problem of particularly these second two films is that like the movie should have been more like the both of these should have been maybe more like the first one in the sense that like you can still have it tying into like what's going on in the greater wizarding world, but I think more focus on your actual main character, like going around and doing stuff around the world and then running into whatever's going on with the
Yeah.
hijinks. Like I was actually talking with my housemate last night. If I could replot the second film, I would have had it like maybe Newt's finishing his book, or he's finished his book. And he's out working on maybe a second volume. So he's going around the world. He's like coming across these other things, and then in Japan, you could even have Nagini, all that stuff tie in Japan, or I think she was, let's see, she was from Singapore or something else, Southeast Asia maybe. You could have him doing some stuff out there. You could have him encounter the beasts that they find in the carnival tent,
Yeah.
and then he understands. Oh, he hears whispers that Credence is on the move, or like Credence is back around. So he gets already he's suspicious. Credence is moving around, and they also hears that Grindelwald's broken out. So you can still have it tie into some of this stuff, but then have it be more about like Newt Scamander's got to track down. He's got to trace Credence to try to protect him because Credence is an Obscurus. He wants to maybe try to help him and try to save him to a degree. Um, Also wanted to maybe try to get there before any Dark Wizards do to Grindelwald because he knows that Grindelwald's on the loose. So have it more be about that instead of having this overcomplicated thing about like Credence is this lost heir of this magical family and his discovery could like lead to some things, and so Grindelwald wants control of that for some reason, and that movie is just so complicated, and that's why this movie still kind of doesn't work because it's still held down by the baggage of the previous film.
Well, that it's the character is kind of like a nothing burger, you know. Is all like they hype him up out of nothing, and then he kind of gives nothing in this movie.
Which one, Credence or?
Credence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It's almost like they brought in an actual scriptwriter for this movie, but the problem is that the previous movie, that all of the plot points that this movie is trying to resolve, because they themselves understand, hey, this movie's probably, given the buzz around this the last one and the fact that this movie got affected by COVID and all kinds of other things, this movie might not do so hot. So let's maybe wrap up some of the plot points so that we can kind of have a more complete ending and wrap it up on a mostly resolved note instead of leaving it off with nothing resolved.
Yeah.
So,
And to be fair, I think this movie's significantly better than the last one.
oh, so much
But
better.
it's a
It's
low
so
bar.
much better.
It's a low bar.
It's
But
yeah. It's to me, it still has a lot of problems. Mostly due to the fact that we're no longer focusing whatsoever on the adventures of Newt Scamander, and it's almost all about Dumbledore. It's like the Dumbledore show, basically,
right,
at this
correct.
point.
Correct. That's why one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when he's going to rescue his brother.
Yeah, that's the best scene in the movie.
That is the best scene. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
easily.
he's doing the little crab walk.
It's great. I love it. I love he's doing a little walk.
Definitely
And
the most charming scene in the movie, rescuing his brother Theseus. But yeah, it's like they're few and far between in this movie.
you got some decent, like, to me, this movie was missing like a really good like brothers angle. Like again, if you built some stuff out, maybe have Lita Lestrange still be around. Maybe she hadn't died in the last movie. Maybe she and Theseus have had a kid. You know, you could have had maybe a little bit more of a time skip rather than this being like again just a few months after the last one. You'd have a little bit of a time skip here. Then you could have some brotherly parallels of like Newt not necessarily knowing what to do, how to relate to his brother who has a kid now. You could have Albus
sweetheart.
Albus having to come to terms with the fact that his brother had a son, a secret son that he didn't know about. So you can have some parallels in terms of this brother relationship. You could do some really interesting things with the script in that way, but like again, you killed off the character that you could possibly do something like that with, so you can't. So you're just left with two brother relationships that just don't really meet each other anywhere in terms of any sort of theming.
Yeah, it's kind of a little the half-baked brothers.
Yeah,
if you will.
But
to me, it feels
Jacob's great in this movie, though. He's great again.
Yes,
so
he is.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like they think that the political story they have going is a lot more interesting than it actually is.
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh, this is going to be so much intrigue here. They're like, we don't really need to focus on Newt's little side quests anymore. Like, this is it.
It's like the big stuff with the Wizarding World. It's all about this, the Krillin?
Krillin?
It's all about Krillin. It's all about Krillin. The chillin'. Yeah.
Big chillin'. A lot of big chillin' moments.
Hey, pour one out for the chillin' out there, you know? So, this is...
for the chillins.
For the chillins.
WandaVision when they're like, for the chillin'.
For the chillin'.
Yeah.
That's right. The children! I love how I just called them Krillin. I got Dragon Ball in the mind, I guess, so... But anyway, so Chillin is apparently this very rare creature that supposedly it can like see everything about like people.
Sure.
So so it's a really good judge of character. So the general plot of this movie is that Grindelwald basically is able to capture one of them, and then using creepy necromantic magic, is able to sort of manipulate it into. He's basically able to manipulate the political scene in order for them to accept him as a potential candidate to be this sort of the international wizard man guy. It's sort of unclear in terms of what that is. It's basically like a League of Nations to use the time period specific Muggle parallel, if you will. Be like the head of the League of Nations, more or less. So you're this big conglomerate of different nations around the world, and so he's able to sort of engineer this sort of plan. And again, I wish more had. If you're gonna make it all about the politics, make it more about how he was able to engineer, and not just make it so that like, oh, the German minister is already like he's already like drank the Kool-Aid, the Grindelwald Kool-Aid.
He's such a cuck.
Yeah. Oh, he's a total cuck. Yeah.
A bunch of mindless drones. These followers, huh?
Yeah.
I found it so interesting when they said he was a fugitive. Now he's being allowed to stand in the election. I'm like, oh God, life imitates art. It's happening. It's happening. Could very well happen. You know, depending on how things go. I don't know. It's just I found it. There was like good moments that I enjoyed, like the Newt Scamander moments. But just the overall story was just not. You know, it's just like, I don't really care for it. Doesn't get me passionate like the Harry Potter movies do. It's just kind of like, all right, I guess this is what's happening. And Grindelwald as the main focal point of it all. It's like, okay. And I guess they loved each other. I mean, I don't really, never really saw that, but I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, a lot of this movie is more. It feels like it's more about like stuff that wasn't covered in the Deathly Hallows adaptation. Because a lot of this stuff, the stuff about Ariana, the stuff about Albus and Aberforth's relationship, and the stuff about Grindelwald and Albus being. So in the book, it was not explicit. J.K. Rowling later made it explicit that yes, they're gay. Whereas in the actual book, it was left very not that really. It was a lot more subtle to the point in which I would say that it was basically not even in the text. I mean, you could tell they were very close friends, but there was nothing indicated that like they're in love or they're lovers or anything quite like that.
Right.
But basically, most of this movie's like the revelations are stuff that if you've been reading the books, you would already know. I'll say that, except for the stuff about Aberforth having a secret son. That's all kind of new information in terms of what this movie is presenting.
Another Dumbledore secret.
It's another Dumbledore secret, you know?
Yeah.
And I did like the scene. I actually really like the scene where Albus confronts Credence, where Credence has been told that, oh, you gotta go kill him, and then Dumbledore just like totally wipes the floor with him, like right. Really well. But then like Dumbledore sort of comes to like understand that kind of who he is, sort of figures out who he is, and then but also like grows some sympathy for him because he realizes that he's dying, and of course once he realizes who he is, then that's sort of where that his relationship with Aberforth sort of gets a little more interesting, or it shows up more interestingly in the rest of the movie. Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem. Who cares? Like that's the thing. That's just like that's well. Here's the thing. I saw this in theaters. I saw this in the theaters. Okay, I was like one of the only people in the movie theater, and I walked out of the movie basically with I was like, yeah, I guess that was fine. I was like, who cares, really? That's not what I want to feel when I'm watching a Harry Potter movie. Like, who cares? I did remember liking the ending a lot, and I still do kind of like the ending. I think it's a very sweet, fitting ending of the movies, but it just feels like weirdly unearned at the same time. Right? Doesn't it feel like strange that it's like, oh, well, now Queenie's back, and it's like,
yeah, don't get me started on Queenie.
It just, God.
Queenie, I will never forget. We might forgive, but we'll never forget. How you
also Nagini's just not in this movie anymore. I guess they just were like, they probably were like, when Steve Kloves was conversing, he was like, Joe, what the hell were you doing? All right, like let's be honest. Nagini, really? You bringing her into this? Why would you do such a thing?
She turned bad off screen.
Yeah.
Yada yada.
She turned bad off screen or died / became her snake self for forever.
Her true evil self.
Yeah.
Well, so they had this little dream team moment, putting together this dream team of, all your favorites, all your favorite characters. Fantastic.
There's only one new character though. That's something.
That's true. I actually liked her.
Yeah, she's great.
She's like
I
a
liked her a
highlight
lot.
for me. Lally, Professor Hicks.
Lally, she's wonderful. Yes, I will agree. She is probably. She's the most consistently good part of the movie. I will say that.
She's my fave potentially, actually.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, we got Jacob, we got Theseus, we got Bunty, and we got Yusuf Kama. All right, all our favorites.
All our favorites. Yusuf, the guy that was really weird in the last movie. Remember?
What the fuck? I almost forgot who he was. I'm like,
dude. Okay, I was watching it with my housemate Mike. And I was like, that's a new guy, isn't it? And Mike's like, no, he was in the last movie, wasn't he? And I was like, is a different act? I was like, is it a different actor? This is a movie that we only watched a week ago.
I know.
And I'm like, was it a different actor? Like he looks totally different. And then so I looked it up and it's like, no, it's the same actor, but he has facial hair.
That's right.
Now it makes him look completely different. Like, I did not recognize him whatsoever.
I thought it was like a new character for like half of the movie. I was like, okay, they just threw this guy in here, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
He recognized Mike recognized it immediately. He was like, oh no, Yosef, that's It's like that can't be this. That can't. That's got to be the same guy. And I was like, oh yeah, that was his name.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
yeah. And then I looked it up, and then I was like, yeah, it's the same actor too. And I was like, wow, he looked totally different to me.
You know,
So
he was the brother of Leo Lestrange, we all loved in,
yeah,
in the last movie. So
played by Zoe Kravitz, everyone's favorite.
I mean, there's just so many fan favorite characters that they couldn't fit all of them in the dream team.
Yeah, it's true.
I
It's
love
true.
seeing
Where was
Bunty. I loved
yeah.
Bunty.
She was great. She's portrayed by one of the women who was in Call the Midwife, which is a
All right.
favorite show of my family's. So
I actually couldn't
uh,
name one character outside of this dream team.
yeah, I don't either. I don't know.
So, well, it's good. This is good.
What happened to that dark wizard or the guy who was hunting Credence and Nagini in the last movie, and then he went over to Grindelwald's side? Whatever happened to that guy?
I couldn't
He was
tell
also
you.
working for the Ministry. Yeah, who cares? I guess who cares? That's no. Who cares?
It's so sad. You know.
Oh
Yusuf had this
man.
moment where he goes over to Grindelwald and it's like, oh, is he turning on us?
Yep.
Grindelwald takes his memory of Lita.
For some reason.
Is that explained? Did I miss that? Like,
No.
we're just okay with this? Like, you
Yeah, I
just lost
don't
that
know.
memory and it's like, alright,
I guess.
I mean, whatever it takes. I
I
don't
guess
know who
I
my
don't know.
sister is. Cool.
I don't know. I
but
don't know.
I liked that's when they had the Newt scene with the crab walk. That was great. And then they had
Yeah, I like that whole prison, like creepy underground prison slash like
that-
execution zone.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun
That
thing.
was fun. And then we had Lally using Jacob like a little magic puppet.
Yeah, that was great. I like that whole scene where it's like he's attacking Grindelwald. It's just that was I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. It's like that one, and then the follow-up scene where they're at Hogwarts. I think are my two favorite scenes in the movie.
That's fun. It's fun,
yeah.
but how dumb are these people? Can they not, like, you can clearly, this is like a magic world. You can't tell that this dude is clearly not in control of what he's doing. Looks like a doofus up there.
Nah, he's clear. That's clearly him.
It's him.
He's a
him, I saw
muggle
it
that's
with my own eyes.
got a wand. Yeah,
That was fun.
I saw it. It was fun. It was fun.
I really liked the slow-mo of Teddy grabbing the coins as they're falling. You know.
Oh yeah.
It looks like he's supposed to be grabbing pick.
Yeah, and then he goes yeah, that was fun. They always have to have those funny little slow motion moments with him
Very cute moment.
in these movies. And I did like that he was going right after that Gryffindor tie. He was just like he just really wanted that tie. Yeah. And then it turned out it was a port key. It's a port key, mate.
How do you feel about Tina in this movie?
I mean, she's in the movie in the last like 5 minutes.
Is there something that happened like she wasn't able to be in this movie? Because it feels very weird. That
I don't know.
She had one
honestly,
tiny cameo.
It did feel very much like it was like a filming conflicts or something. I don't know if she's in something else. And
because like how are we gonna have this
only show
dream
up
team
for, like,
with these lame ass characters? You couldn't at least get Tina. In there.
these lame ass characters.
I don't even like Tina, so it was like kind of like made it better that they didn't have to deal with the Newt and Tina at all, even though he was still obsessed with her, like looking at her picture whenever he could. But
No, she's a little sweetie.
She's a little sweetie,
But
I'm sure.
I will yeah, I don't know what that was all about though. Like why is she not in this movie at all?
Just like one cameo.
Well, I guess you don't want to crowd it with too many characters again, right?
Right, Bunty needs her time to shine.
Bunty needed her time to shine.
Tina will
That's
come
right.
back in the
She was
next
in the
two.
movie. Right, that's those aren't gonna ever come out though, Zach. Yeah.
Okay, what? By the way, this whole, what was the thing called where that Albus and Grindelwald, where they weren't able to kill each other?
I don't know, but I'm calling it a bloodlock.
Bloodlock, yeah, you know the bloodlock. And so he's just
I don't know what it's actually called, but that's what I'm calling it right now.
And then someone was
The
like,
bloodlock.
I think Newt was like, I thought you guys weren't able to go after each other, and he's like, he sought to kill, I sought to protect. Our spells met. So they just canceled out. It seemed kind of convoluted.
It's like I think it's because they both sort of broke their oaths at the same time
That's
that
the
it
trick.
sort of that it sort of apparently that's the trick. Yeah, that's so they. I guess I don't know. I feel like that's horrendously underexplained, but
It's rough. It's rough.
yeah.
And okay, we're having now the we're winding down and we're having a wedding. By the way, the whole Queenie and Jacob situation. I feel like there's a lot. Like he probably should have thought about it a little more before jumping back into it, right? Because she did straight up enchant him and make him like say that they're gonna be getting married and everything
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
That's a red
that was in the
flag.
last. Yeah, that was a big
And
red
then the
flag.
second red flag was when she did a whole heel turn big moment in the last movie. You didn't think heel turn's usually a red flag.
Heel turn. Joining the guy that says he's gonna like enslave Muggle kind.
But it's all fine because she got
maybe
a nice smile and a firm tuchus.
and a nice rack. There you go. That's all you need. Yeah, that's your hot red-blooded American male,
Yeah.
Polish descendants. The Poles do love them some beautiful ladies.
I
So
guess it's like inter muggle magic wedding at the end. That's supposed to be a wholesome moment for sure. But
yeah,
why are you
and it
having a wedding at
sort
the
of worked.
bakery? Is this like
MEA, you get free catering right there. Yeah.
that seems like the lamest whack ass shit I've ever seen. You're gonna be having you own a restaurant, you own a bakery, you have your wedding at your own restaurant that you have to work at every day. I I don't get
So
it.
did Jacob not have any family, not like a cousin or anything, like cousins or I know his like grandmother died or whatever, but
Who cares? This would be my response. So, they have a
much
wedding
like
at the
the much
they
like
have a
the
wedding at the back of this bakery. Like, what is
much
that?
much like the rest of this movie, who cares?
They have a wedding at the back of this bakery, and of course Dumbledore has to separate himself. He's like watching over from afar, like he's some god figure. Like he
I also
can't go
like
near them. It's like
I also love how like most of this movie is like meandering also. Like that and that's like Dumbledore's entire plan. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to like basically subvert because Grindelwald has this sort of like foresight ability where
oh
you can kind
right,
of see events before they happen, and so to a certain degree, and it's like vague, but he can at least sort of get the sense of things that are going to happen in the future, and so it's like so some of the meandering was to try to like was to sort of like
confused.
confuse the foresight essentially, which is like okay,
I
but
kind of
it kind of makes a lot of the plot of the movie to feel very like meandering and to the point where it's like
the
are they
character.
accomplishing anything? Not
Yeah, the
really,
characters
but
don't even know what's exactly
what they're
going on.
doing.
It's like, oh, I guess
Yeah,
it worked out in the end.
yeah, yeah.
But and, I kind of liked that idea, and it was almost like an inadvertent heist movie kind of situation.
To me it does you're able to sort of like you're able to kind of take a meandering sort of plot and actually have it benefit like the general overall like thrust of the movie much better than like say the last one where it was just we were just like wandering around for no reason half the time. So
Yeah, I like that
yeah.
everybody got their own case. I like that little bit
Hmm.
to it, and it's the reveal at the end.
I like
But
that a lot too. Yeah.
it is what it is. What score would you give Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore?
It is like a 6.5 for me. I think there's a lot of stuff that I still like about it, but the movie is still bogged down by a lot of problems. So most of which we've already talked about. A lot of it is just apathy. Like it's just I just don't
Yeah.
care. And that's really mainly I would say that's mainly the fault of its previous movie because it's like it's hard to feel like that because the last one just ended on such a wet fart of an ending that it's like it's hard to like really you have to pick up from there. So it's like it's tough to kind of pick up the pieces and make something that's really exciting and interesting after that. And
Right, it's kind of like The Last Jedi was the last movie kind of situation.
yeah, yeah,
Except it just took the landing even worse, like much worse. But
yeah.
I, yeah, I feel like I came in with a higher score than what I'm settling on. because of the apathy.
Mm.
Because I think that's a big detriment to the movie. If
Yeah.
like a lot of the things are just like, even like talking about plot points, and it's like, this is your character's motivation for that, and this is the reasoning for this, and it's like, but I actually don't care about that or this
Yeah, but it's like it
or the
doesn't
whole thing.
spark anything. It doesn't spark anything. Like
Yeah.
I should be more. I because these are characters that we kind of know. Shouldn't I be feel more invested? But I don't feel invested. I don't feel anything really, and that's not great. I do feel invested. I love the first movie. I feel invested in everything that happens in that movie, pretty much. Creed and stuff. Again, he's the weakest character of the first movie, despite the fact that he's the MacGuffin of the first movie.
And he continues to be weak throughout.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, in this one, yeah, he was built up in the last one, only for him to be kind of a loser in this one
He's
too.
very
So
loser energy. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's like there's excitement. Just a few movies ago, when we were in Harry Potter, there was excitement in the air, and I was big. I was big chilling this movie, all chilling all the time. In fact, the chilling are also a highlight of the movie. But I mean,
they are. They're very cute, very deer-like. I like them a lot. They're
but yeah,
sweet.
gotta give it up for that. Gotta give it up for the scene with Newt in the prison, and gotta give it up for Lally. You know, she was a gem in this movie. So don't take it to heart, whoever played Lally. When I say, I also think it's a 6.5. So
Yeah,
you did your best. You pulled it up probably 3 points, Lally. Good job.
yeah,
So
that's true.
Tarqaron score is
That's true.
6.5. Right?
Yeah,
It's
So.
yeah, it's unfortunate that it couldn't stay consistent. That's what happens a lot of times with these big series of movies, and they go into the prequels and stuff. They fly
Yeah.
too close to the sun every time. You have a good thing going, but you're gonna keep pushing it and pushing it. You're gonna have a bad thing at some point.
Mm.
And we got some
Yeah.
bad. We got some bad. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got to end on the
Real
lows, and then the meh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But so next week we're gonna review Return to Hogwarts. The special should be wholesome and joyous, and a way to reflect on the whole wizarding world and the world of Harry Potter. Right. So look
Good
forward
stuff.
to that,
Good stuff.
and that'll be fresh for both of us.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So thank you for watching. All right. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of The Rise of Skywalker. All right.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Yeah.
It's the counterpart. It's the
It is the
counterpart
counterpart.
in the sequel / prequel trilogies here. But
Yeah. You could. I would even say you could watch Revenge of the Sith, which sticks the landing better than this movie does. I'll tell you that.
they both stick the
Oh.
landing better. Star Wars
Yeah.
did it better for this little trilogy at least. So,
You know.
so check that out.
So,
Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment, and if you do, be sure to read the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. All right. Hit the notification bell, click the link in the description for our social media. All right.